Just one Juul pod contains as much nicotine as 20 cigarettes, and it only takes one cigarette to get addicted. Today we are going to tour the entire city of Guangzhou using only 100 yuan. This is WeChat. It's an essential app to have in China, and we're going to use it to pay for everything today. Starting February 16th, Monongalia County will no longer be accepting plastic bags or soiled pizza boxes. And they asked when you bring in cardboard boxes that you break them down at the seams. I'm Shayla Klein, and straight ahead, I'll tell you about a new school subject coming to all West Virginia schools. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now. But this bill won't just help West Virginia's economy, it will also help to diversify the computer science industry. In 2017, only 15% of computer science graduates were female, but when women take a computer science class in high school, they are 10 times more likely to major in that field. I'm Shayla Klein, and straight ahead, I'll tell you how this device is causing health problems for teens across the nation. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
Shayla Klein joins us now from Studio B to tell us more about what this means for universities around the Mountain State. Shayla?
Current law leaves concealed carry issues up to university policy. But if this bill is passed, West Virginia colleges and universities would have until July of 2020 to allow those with a concealed handgun license to conceal carry a weapon on campus.
Kill the bill! Not our students!
Emotions are high on both ends of the polarizing campus carry bill. And this protest at West Virginia University is a perfect example of just how passionate each side is.
I think it's a little absurd given that we can already have guns in locked cars on campus. I don't see the need to be able to have guns in a classroom environment. It doesn't make much sense to me.
On one hand, those who oppose the bill believe it would promote violence on campus. On the other hand, those who support the bill believe that it would de-escalate a violent situation.
If somebody enters a classroom that's armed and wishes to do people ill will, I would much rather have that person hurt than somebody else hurt. And so if there's any way that you can reduce that threat, I'm all for it.
10 states across the nation have already passed a similar bill, while 18 states passed a law banning guns on campus. Statistics have shown positive results for states who have passed campus carry laws. For example, at University of Kansas, the number of crimes committed on campus decreased by 13%, and no weapons violations reports were filed in 2017.
I actually have been in a police shootout hostage situation in my lifetime, and it was before I came to WVU, and after I got here, I have a problem with the classrooms mostly at WVU. There's usually one entrance and no exit, no back exit. If someone comes in the front door, that's it. You're a fish in a barrel.
Still, many students say that they would feel unsafe if guns were allowed in the classroom.
Books, not guns!
While this bill has been gaining attention, the legislature has proposed similar bills in the past couple of years. Experts predict that if the bill doesn't pass this legislative session, it's likely something we will see again. Guns would still be banned in large venues, dorm rooms, and anywhere that children are present, but they would be allowed in classrooms and public areas on campus. Now back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Shayla Klein joins us now from Studio B at the Media Innovation Center with her segment, Storytelling with Data. Shayla?
West Virginia legislators are working on a child welfare reform bill that will make it easier for families to adopt a foster care child. Currently, foster kids are filling up emergency shelters because not enough families can take them in. So if you've ever thought about becoming a foster care parent, now might be the right time. I spoke with a family who has made it their life mission to open their hearts to kids who need a home. When you walk into the Keller household, the first thing you'll notice are all the family photos. But there's something special about this family. Dwayne and Joni are foster parents, and all these kids were once in the foster care system.
It's good to be able to help the kids and help them through their challenges and help them get settled either back with their parents or grandparents or with a forever home.
But as the drug epidemic rises, foster kids are flooding the system. In just 5 years, the number of kids in foster care has risen by more than 2,000 kids. And now foster agencies are having trouble finding enough foster families to meet the demand.
It's not the best feeling when you get a call and you don't have anywhere for that child. It's a wake-up call for everybody.
Some kids can live with a relative or get adopted right away. But for others, finding a forever home can feel like a game of chance. Only about 50% of foster kids are in permanent homes. For the other half, they could be bounced from home to home until they're kicked out of the system.
You know, it's not the kid's fault. Children are children, whether they're in foster care, whether they're biological children, they're all the same. All of them want structure, all of them want love.
For foster kids, having a foster family represents stability and allows them to feel at home when they lack a permanent residence. The Family First Prevention Services Act, signed into federal law last year, aims to reduce the number of children who end up in foster care in the first place by helping families stay together. This is the largest reboot of the child welfare system since 1980, and it's too soon to tell if this legislation is working. Now back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Shayla Klein joins us now from Studio B with more on vaping's effects. Shayla?
Many teens are underestimating the health risks of vaping. And why wouldn't they? With flavors like strawberry, vanilla, and apple pie, vapes seem harmless enough. But a new study shows that e-cigarettes are just as addictive as traditional ones, and they're just as bad for your health. Vaping has become the new craze among teens as young as middle school. The devices are small enough to be mistaken for a USB drive, and they don't leave any noticeable smell, making them accessible and easy to hide. 19-year-old Kazan Castillo said he started vaping because his friend said it would help his anxiety. He decided to quit when he found out that his health was at risk.
My doctor had told me that I grew out of my asthma, but it started coming back because of the vape.
Just one Juul pod contains as much nicotine as 20 cigarettes, and it only takes one cigarette to get addicted. And WVU researchers are finding that it's not just your lungs that are at risk when you vape. Dr. Ulfert is leading a study on how using a vape affects the heart and blood vessels.
We're finding that they're simply not even safer than cigarettes. They're just as bad in terms of creating the types of problems that people have with their blood vessels.
The blood vessels in mice that have been exposed to the vape were shown to be more than 3 times stiffer than unexposed mice. And when blood vessels are stiffer, it's harder for blood to pump through. Though they're not sure why these changes are occurring, Dr. Ulfert thinks it might have to do with the vape juice.
Another misconception that's out there is that this is water vapor. It's not. It's a petroleum. It's an oil.
Now that research has shown that vaping causes some harmful effects, the next step for Dr. Ulfert's team is getting down to those specific causes and determining exactly how much harm vaping causes. But here's what experts do know. Vaping raises your blood pressure and spikes your adrenaline, which could increase your likelihood of having a heart attack. In fact, the FDA recently received an increase in reports of seizures after vaping. While the exact cause is unknown, some experts speculate that it could be nicotine poisoning. We'll know more after the FDA finishes their analysis. Now back to you at the Waterfront Studio. This is Shamin Island, a place where Western culture meets Eastern culture. Most places accept WeChat, but you should always carry cash with you just in case. Now we're at Yuju Park, and this is one of the most popular places in Guangzhou because of this sculpture, the 5-ram statue. It's the traditional symbol for the city of Guangzhou. Look, it's Canton Tower. It was completed in 2010 and is the second tallest tower in the world. Hi, Suzanne and Dave. To start off with, I have a couple of tweets from the governor. The first tweet is about Social Security. He says, "It's time for us to eliminate the tax on Social Security and take care of our retirees." Hi, Suzanne and Dave. To start off with, the American Civil Liberties Union spoke out against a bill that would create a work requirement for Medicaid eligibility. And the final tweet comes from House Majority Whip Paul Espinoza, and he says, "It's about to get real. Hashtag let the whipping begin." I'm Shayla Klein for WVU News, and I'm here at the Health Sciences Center, where they are doing tests on rats related to vaping to figure out sort of like how it affects the cardiovascular system. And we are here in the lab, and I'm just going to have them kind of show you how the machines work. I'm going to turn the camera around.
So essentially we have different vape systems right here and here. That one is non-nicotine vape and this one is nicotine vape. And then we have a system of tubes and exhausts that pulls the vape from these vape firing devices. And it fires every 1 minute for about 8 seconds, and it pulls through there and goes into the chambers where the animals usually are. We have 4 different slots for 4 different animals in each of them.